Hello. Let me adjust my camera just a little bit. Oh, it chose the wrong camera. Okay. So sorry, today I got a new computer hooked up. Still kind of working out the kinks on it. My last computer kept crashing, having problems. So last class we were covering purple belt, and we kind of ran out of time. So we're going to open up and warm up, stretch out, and we'll get back into the self-defense techniques today. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and mirror this again for you. Right leg forward, left back, start with a front jab. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. Add across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. Let's add the hook. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. Let's add the uppercut. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. Okay, let's add a wheel kick. 1, 2, 3, drop down 10 here, of course. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right, after the wheel kick, let's add a snap kick. So do wheel and then snap. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right, I'll turn that into a chicken kick by adding a jumping snap kick off the other foot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, now we add a back fist punch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, we got a vertical punch off the backhand. Punching off the back leg. All right, 5 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. That concludes our kickboxing drill and warm up. Just a little info on that drill. The reason we do it every class is my Kempo instructor partnered with a Shotokan instructor. I actually started in Shotokan first, learned what was called Chinese Kempo at the time later. As time went on, name got changed to Chuan Fa. But CL Bergeron was our Shotokan guy. And he loved Kempo after he met my teacher because he liked what he didn't like about Shotokan, what my teacher didn't like about Shotokan is the forms have a block punch stop kind of combination. Like if you look at a form like Keon Shodan, it's just downward block punch. And that one hit's supposed to end the fight. Versus Kempo and Chuan Fa realize that it's going to take more than one hit to end the fight. So it'll be, instead of throwing one punch, just block, hit, it's more like parry, hit here, hit here, hit here, take out an eye, take out a throat. Okay, now we're going to be done, because if you're not a very big guy, one hit's probably not going to do the job. It might if you hit the right spot with enough power and good technique, but there's no guarantee. Me, myself, I'm a small guy. I'm only 5'3". Being 5'3", it's going to take me more than one hit most of the time. So that's why I started moving more towards the Chuan Fa side, because Shotokan, although it was fun and I learned a lot from it, it didn't really work for me in a fight. This worked for me. So that doesn't mean it doesn't work in a fight, because CL, he was a kickboxing fighter. He ranked 8th place in World Championship Kickboxing back in 1987. While he was fighting, he was teaching, so he said, let's make this drill at the beginning of the Kempo class so I can still get my practice in. It would be a kickboxing drill. It uses all the techniques that you would normally see in a kickboxing match, and it practices it every single class so that those basics are really solid and almost second nature by the time he got in the ring. And then he got in the ring, and like I said, he was in the World Championships and did good in the World Championships. And because of that, this warm-up stayed and became our permanent warm-up. And it still is 30, 40 years later. Well, since 1987 to 2022, so long time. Okay, let's go ahead and stretch out. Stretch kicks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Let's go ahead and do a side leg stretch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. So I said we were going to cover purple belt today. Let me grab my list and we'll get started on that. Okay, before we get into self-defense techniques, let's learn a couple of blocks. First block is called kick block. Kick block combines two techniques from yellow belt, the palm up reverse hand block, and you could either use the downward block, or you could call it a palm reverse hand block, just going the opposite way. I'm going to say it's a palm up reverse hand block and a downward block, because that looks more like the downward block motion for me. This is called kick block, and it's off of a wheel kick. The first hammer fist to the leg kind of stops it and deadens it a little bit, and that second one drives it back down. You want to aim for a muscle center if you can, trying to frog the leg somewhere as you force it to the ground. Okay, I'll do 10 each side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right, after kick block, we have wheel kick block. You may know this is an X block low. If you take another style, it's just fine. Wheel kick block, same kick off the wheel kick, 45-degree angle. You're doing an X, step up, hit with the X. Your left hand is going to grab the toes as your right hand grabs the heel. You're going to twist the foot really fast. This will give them two choices, because it's going to twist their foot like that. Either A, they're going to have to go with it and it's going to throw them, or B, they're not going to go with it and it's going to break their knee. Most likely they're going to go with it, and yeah, they'll probably wind up on the ground whenever you do this technique, because if they don't, they're going to break a leg, and they'd rather fall on their face and break a leg. All right, so X block, grab the heel, push the foot down, spin it. I want to do 10 times each side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, X, grab the heel, spin. 9, and 10. Okay, so that's kick block. Let's move on to the next one. Next, we have the forked extended block. We do this with the opening glide techniques, what we call the forked extended block. We're just driving in like a sharp fork and doing an extended outward block. Basically, forked extended. And this is good for grabs when they're coming a little close. You just want to step up and open them up. Opens up the center line, right? And then we go to work on center line theory. You can borrow it straight from Wing Chun, or you can use a lot of the Kempo techniques. Both styles kind of use that center line theory once that forked extended block opens it up. Okay. 1, 2. You'll notice I kind of like to use tiger claws. And that's because 2 reasons. 1, if I'm coming up and coming through the eyes, it gives me a chance to do an eye rake or a finger rake. And 2, like I said, most people are bigger than me and the arms are kind of big. So it gives me a chance to grab the arms if I go out. So it can rake the eyes or grab the arms or do both. Okay. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, the hand movements are the same. We just step up with the other foot. So I'm going to go ahead and skip the other side because you've already done the technique. The only thing you're practicing different is stepping up a different foot 10 times. All right, let's go ahead and move on. And that takes us into the self-defense techniques. First self-defense technique is covers A. We went over this a little bit. We cover after our self-defense techniques to be able to prepare. Purple belt's the first place you want that, although the self-defense techniques take place in orange belt. I don't like that. I may change it. I may move covers A into orange belt eventually because, or covers A and covers B, because it really needs to be done before the self-defense techniques, so you're doing it after every technique, rather than learning 15, 20 techniques, then learning to cover, and then having to go back and put the covers in the techniques you already learned. Okay, so covers A is literally just step back, outward block 4 times. The mistake you want to avoid is a lot of people like to try to come to the inside of the arm. That doesn't work. And the reason that doesn't work is if this person's got a hold of your wrist or the arm, and you do that inward block, you didn't hit anything. You got to go on the outside of the arm to knock their hand off. So step back, outward block. And like I said, I like to put one elbow inside the other and just slide down the other. That way you get that full coverage for that arm. You're going to do it 4 times for cover A. And that's on the count of 1. Okay, I'm going to step a little close. 1. If you don't think this works, your next sparring round, just keep stepping back and doing outward blocks like this as fast as you can and see if your opponent can catch you. Most likely they'll wind up chasing you, looking sloppy, trying to catch up to you, and you'll wind up far away from your opponent, and you'll have time to adjust and fight back or think if you need to. If you ever find yourself in trouble, this is a good technique. Doesn't necessarily work in a cage fight because about 2 steps back and you're going to run into the cage. All right. 2. Doesn't really matter which hand you start with. You're going to do it 4 times, so it's going to work out. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. And 10. Okay, next is covers B. Covers B moves into soft hand blocks instead of hard blocks. Generally, the main difference you're going to see is a hard block uses a closed fist and it comes in like a hammer. You're trying to damage something. Like if they're throwing a punch, you're basically hammering down on that bicep. And if you've ever felt that, someone really hits with a hammer fist right in the middle of your bicep, in the middle of a punch, that whole arm will go numb. It'll fall asleep. They'll just deaden it. It really, really sucks because you go to throw this hit And then it gets hit, and suddenly you can't use his hand for a minute. A good inward block works well. I've had it done to me a bunch of times, and yeah, I've thrown this double punch and had people come in inward outward block when both my hands go limp, and then I'm just trying to back out of the way for 2 minutes and not get hit until they start to kind of feel all right again. A soft hand block's not going to do that, but a soft hand block is faster. This technique will be significantly slower than this technique, but this isn't going to hurt as much because it's small bones, just fingertips hitting, and it's going to just redirect and grab. This is going to hurt, but it's going to take more time, so you have to decide which technique's right in that moment. Do you want more power? It's going to be a crippling block, or are you going to have to sacrifice some power in order to be fast enough to not get hit yourself? For me, it's usually the latter because, like I said, small guy, even if I hit, they might be able to take it, and then, oh crap, I sacrificed time that I don't have. Okay, so wiping off 4 times. 1, and I tend to use what we call a graduated spear hand. People call it palm heel, people call it one finger zen. It has a lot of different names, but the technique is you just bend 4 fingers, bring your thumb in, prefer it completely in case you want to use a ridge hand, your thumb's not in the way, and keep your finger up. And I will fight like this a lot because a slight move to the side and I almost have my half fist. Without one finger out, I have my eye poke or my single finger strikes. I can still use my palm heel. I can still use my chop. And I don't have to switch hands. So this is my favorite fighting hand, the graduated spear hand, because the only thing I don't have is a fist. And, I have a back fist, so close enough. And I have a palm heel, and I like palm heel better than fist anyways, whenever it hits right. Okay. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. And 10. Okay, so that is our covers. You can use either one of those. I use covers B after every self-defense technique. Only 2, not a whole 4. If you prefer to use the outward blocks, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. This is where you get to use personal preference. Because we're not robots. We're not all going to be the same, and that's okay. Use your individual flair. See what works for you. Okay. So after that, we have opponents at sides. Opponents at sides, I think, is our first technique off of multiple attackers, more than one guy. So this technique, you've got a guy over here on the right, and you got a guy over here on the left, right? Well, you got 2 people, and you're already in the middle. So the first thing we're going to do is we got to buy some time. So I want to step out and hit this guy in the throat. That should choke him up for a second. While he's choking, that gives us just enough time to swipe over and put our fingers in this guy and hit him in the throat too. And hopefully by the time we hit him in the eyes and hit him in the throat, he can't see, he can't breathe, we'll have time to recover. About that time, we're going to swing this leg around and bring a hammer fist back over to this first guy. I like to aim for the jaw, but if he is recovered and throwing a punch, that could be a block off a punch. We're going to kick him away with a front thrust, bring that leg back, go to this guy over here, throw a side thrust, cover to this guy. Opponents at sides, we immediately get to break this cover rule because opponents at sides has its own cover, mostly because of how it brings the foot back. So it gets a little fancy, comes back, think of grabbing a baseball bat over your head and bending down into a deep stance. Apologize that my legs were cut off today. I accidentally hit the wrong camera whenever I started the film, and I can't switch it without making a new link, which would undo a lot of things. So, opponents at sides. Step up, chop. You can either do a straight strike, which is how the technique is taught, or you can do a rake. I like a rake because it helps that spin feel more smooth. Kick, and come back to that close. Whenever I learned it, the jab was called opponents at sides. If you used a rake, it was called flowing death. And I did not think that there was really a point in teaching purple belt opponents at sides, strike, and then you get all the way to brown belt before you get flowing death, and the only difference is you rake. It's not even harder. I'm like, okay, why? This is the same technique in a fairly beginner belt and an advanced belt for a very simple change. Let's delete one of them and just tell people to use personal preference and common sense. Okay. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. All right, now let's do the other side. Let me be a little harder on this side, being the non-dominant side. 1, through, eyes, chop. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, let's move on to the next technique. After opponents at sides, we have the dancer. The dancer is an attack on someone trying to strangle you from behind or someone trying to grab your shoulders from behind. So I'm going to turn around backwards. So this left leg here, it's going to be kind of hard to see. It's doing a cross stance and coming in front of your right foot. Do a slight adjustment so that maybe you can see the feet here. Okay, so now you can see my feet, but you can't see my head, but that'll be good for this. Okay, so I'm bringing this foot, but I'm not stepping back. I'm not just stepping sideways. I'm taking this left foot and putting it all the way in front of my front foot with his cross stance. And then I want to do a ridge hand down to the growing as I spin out into a bow stance with another ridge hand. So immediately you get 2 strikes to the growing. You get this step with the first strike, and of course they've got their hands on your shoulders right now, so whenever you turn, you get that strike. You should have turned them a little bit sideways. And after that, it's just 3 punches to the nose. So I'm going to bring this up just a little more. I do apologize for all the camera adjustments. We'll try to have that fixed by the next class. Unfortunately, getting all the technical data has been a little bit difficult. Okay. 1, ridge hand, 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. Sorry, it's not 3 to the nose, it's growing solar plex nose. Opening cowl is 3 to the nose. I just got it mixed up with another technique. 4, it's growing solar plex nose. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And we're going to go ahead and do this technique on both sides. Originally, I did not learn it on both sides. The reason being the attack is a 2-handed attack. So no matter which way you go, it's going to work. So if you're better on your right side, to my teacher, it made more sense to practice the sides you're going to use instead of wasting time practicing something you weren't going to use. As our training got more advanced, I no longer agree with that theory, as developing one side more than the other can lead to health problems, cause injuries. So although that theory is absolutely correct for self-defense purposes, it's not the best for health purposes. And I don't know if you're going to get into a fight anytime soon, but I know that I hope you're healthy tomorrow. So we're going to make sure we practice in a healthy manner. Okay. So again, step in front, ridge hand, growing, solar plex, nose. Okay. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right. And again, that technique is called dancer. You can find it in purple belt at arkansaswushu.com. I'll be under Chuan Fa styles. All right. Moving on, we have inward defense. Inward defense is off of a punch. You want to step up, inward block, chop, and kick. And of course, wipe off. I forgot to do that on the dancer. Okay. 1, inward block, hit to the carotid artery or the throat if you can get it. Kick to the groin. Actually, this one's more likely going to be the throat because you're here and then here. So you'd have to go a bit more sideways to get to the carotid artery. 3, 4, step up, not back. 5, make sure whenever you step up, you bring this other hand up in guard, just in case. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right, next one is outward defense. So outward defense is going to step up, do an outward block, just turn it over with our head high twisting punch to the nose, one more punch to the nose, and that's it. 2 wipe offs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, other side, same technique. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, so after our defense, I believe we have the cover. Let me take a look here. Oh, ground defense. So, Chuan Fa is mostly a stand-up fighting style, but there's always a chance you're going to get knocked down. So here we're going to need to learn what to do if that happens. I'm not going to get too much into advanced grappling skills. We're just going to show you how to kind of keep them off of you, and hopefully you'll get a chance to get back to your feet or scramble to your feet in a minute. So I'm going to go ahead and lower the camera again a little bit because this is going to require me to get on the ground. So ground defense. This person has actually managed to knock us down, right? So now I'm down here on the ground. I got this guy coming at me. Of course, it's going to be a natural response to put this foot up and keep this guy off of you, which is great. And that is part of it, is keeping your foot to block and keep them from getting in at 180 degrees this way. And then even if they manage to jump over you and everything, you can flip your hips. I'll turn around here. You can flip your hips over to get 180 degrees this way, or flip it back to get 180 degrees this way. Now, the worst thing whenever you're grappling is they come down and they're trying to get your arm, your body, or something. But if they can't get in between this knee and elbow, you'll have a hard time getting to your body grappling. So if you'll keep this elbow on your knee while you're doing that, and then if you got to switch, flop it over. That is called ground defense. Obviously, this whole thing is a cover, so you can't really cover from here. But try this with a partner. Have them try to get in, have them try to mount you, have them try to get side control. And you want to keep this person off of you just by keeping your foot, pushing back, block this 180 degrees, and then, let them try to run all the way around and practice flipping that hip over and guarding that other side. And this is our first technique in Chuan Fa to allow you to fight on the ground, or to allow you to not get submitted on the ground at least, because hopefully they'll wear out, give up, or something. Obviously, this technique doesn't finish the fight. It doesn't get you up, but it gives you a little bit of a defense in a style that has little defense. While I'm down here, I want to go ahead and show you a little bit about how to fall, because we're here. So the trick to falling without getting hurt is to hit as much surface area as you can at the same time. Sort of a power focus thing. You think, well, if I take a 2x4 and I'm trying to nail two 2x4s together, they're going to bounce off each other all day, right? But you take a nail, it's going to drive through it. So which one's doing more damage? Is it just bouncing off or a piercing wound? And that's what happens when you fall. Is a lot of people, they shrink themselves, or God forbid they fall on their solar plex in the back, and they have their back rounded when they hit, so it hits just that point, and that's what really knocks the breath out of you. So whenever you hit the ground, what you want to do is slap, hitting as much of your arms and your back as you can, all at the same time. And that way, that force, instead of having that nail piercing effect, is going to have that spread out 2x4, but it's 2x4. It may still hurt a little bit, but it's going to hurt significantly less. And how you want to do that, you want to practice, just from a sitting position, fall back, and get used to hitting as much of your body as you can. Once you're comfortable, do it from a sitting position. Come up on your feet and fall back and do. Once you can do that, do it with a bit of a jump. So you'll come here and then jump back and slap the ground. And then after that, of course, bring out the mats, do it from standing, work it again and again and again until you can do it not standing. Of course, there's always the fact that you may not fall on your back, you're going to fall on your side. The principle is the same, though. Whenever you fall, this time you want to bring your hand up kind of at a 45-degree angle and hit as much as you can at the same time. You don't want to let just one point hit. That's what's really going to hurt. And again, just start falling over, hit here, and practice that till it's comfortable. Once it's comfortable, come up on your knee, fall from your knee, bend it a little if you have to. After that, you can come up and then fall. Of course, you kind of roll. And then in the advanced levels, you can literally just jump up and land like that. And you'll be okay. I'm not saying it's not going to hurt at all, but you'll be all right. You'll get over it. Toughen up. You're doing martial arts. It's supposed to hurt a little bit. If it doesn't hurt a little bit, so that's a little bit on how to fall. Of course, we've got rules and stuff too. And Kempo was mixed with Jiu-Jitsu. That's why you see the rear naked choke. We have the triangle choke. We have some arm bars and some wrist locks. And technically, we have a leg lock with the wheel kick block you learned. So just some things to keep in mind in practice. You want to be good at falling, because as you're doing these self-defense techniques, hopefully you'll have a partner to work them on. And pretty soon, they're going to be throwing you down again and again and again. And you're going to want to know how to fall. And the answer is not straight down. It's spread out. Okay. So moving on, let's go to headlock A. We've covered this one before. So they get you in a headlock. You drop down to one knee. You do this ridge hand. This is where that snake principle comes in. Followed by a tiger claw, or that tiger principle. Squeeze and rip. It may seem very violent, it may seem brutal, but this style is either trying to kill you, take you away. It is time for all niceties, rules, and manners to go out the window. Oh, one, drop the knee, grab. And again, this will be one that we won't wipe off on because that would require us to let go, and we don't know if we want to do that. Okay. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. If you're an iron fist practitioner or you want to condition your hands a little bit, you can go ahead and back fist the floor just to get that little bit of force, a little bit of power. Condition that hand just a little. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Other side. Then do that getting up and down. Don't just stay on one knee and do it. That's lazy practice. You want practice going up, down. You're cheating the workout if you don't do your full range of motion, because a lot of people have trouble going down on one knee and back up. But when you do it again and again and again daily, it becomes just like walking. It's second nature. It's whenever you dread it and you don't do it and you don't do it and you don't do it, that suddenly it becomes a problem. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right, that's headlock A. So let's move on to headlock B. This time they not only got you in the headlock, but they've got you in the headlock and they're pulling you around, right? Trying to keep you off balance. So you're down here in this headlock and you're stepping around anyways. So while we're stepping around like that, just the technique, we're just going to take one step to demonstrate. I want to use this hidden hand principle. When we come up behind the head, like I said, there's 2 ways you can do this, the mean way or the nice way. I always do the meaner way because it gets you in that mindset for self-defense. Doing the nice way gets me in the mindset that this is someone I don't want to hurt. And I don't want to practice that way because I can always choose not to hurt somebody and it'd be fine. I can't say, oh, I was accidentally nice, but I needed to hurt him and now it's too late and it'd still be fine. Okay. So you're going to come up, pull it back, and do that half fist to the throat. And again, wipe off, wipe off. It's one of those where you want to be lazy and not wipe off, but say you miss that throat, you hit that chin, you got him off of you, but now he's mad and he's swinging and you think the fight's over. If you didn't wipe off, you might be taking a good right hook to the face. Make sure you're ready for it. Okay, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. So our next one is headlock C. A little bit of a warning on this one. It's a bit graphic and very, very violent. We're not trying to be sadistic necessarily, but when this style was developed, it was developed for war. So these techniques are meant to end a fight permanently or kill a person because it was done on the battlefield. And of course, you had to make sure one was dead because you couldn't risk them getting back up. This technique has actually been used by one of my students, so it's a little special to me. An orange belt of mine, way back, probably, I don't know, I want to say 2002, 2003, was jumped by 2 guys, another martial arts school in the area, a couple of Taekwondo guys that thought, oh, they were big and bad, we'll just whoop your butt and show you how your tempo doesn't work worth crap. And they attacked him in the middle of a park, and it was all ego-driven. And he only had to do, the first guy, he just grabbed and elbowed upside the head, knocked him out. The second guy jumped and put him in a headlock. Now, he's a 2-on-1 fight, so he was ready for it to get a little violent. So, in this one, they've grabbed you, they've got you in the headlock, and you're just going to go ahead and hit him in the solar plexus with your palm heel, just like a good slap right there to knock the breath out. Well, what that's going to do is going to give that little poof feeling, right? So what happens when that goes is the body kind of bows like this, right? Kind of make this U. Your stomach goes in, but the growing in the chest stay out. Well, now we're going to use that to our advantage and strike straight down, because that's going to go from here, slide down, and hit the growing. Now, as soon as we hit that growing, we're going to go ahead and grab it with a tiger claw and grab a fistful. And maybe gross, you may not want to touch there, but we got a fight to end, and that's what we're going to do. So grab, squeeze, and rip your elbow up into the chin without letting go, right? So they're here, you're grabbing a handful of growing and yanking that elbow up underneath the chin. And you don't let go. In the case of my student, like I said, he was attacked by 2 guys. First guy grabbed him, he elbowed him beside the head, knocked him up. Second guy came, grabbed him in a headlock. He hit the guy, grabbed him by the growing, yanked him up. He didn't get the elbow in, but he yanked him up and held him by the growing until he peed blood and dropped him on the ground. But he was a big student. He was probably 6'4", huge guy, a lot bigger than I was, but still trained underneath me and used my techniques. And he won a 2-on-1 fight with those 2 techniques. Real simple, real quick. Funny part is the guy hit the ground laughing. You would think, oh, funny, no, that's not what happened. That guy was in shock. That's hysteria. Whenever you do something so vital and they hit the ground laughing, they're not laughing at you. They're in a mild form of shock. And that's what happened to this guy. He had just, I don't know what happened to him afterwards. It was a 2-on-1 attack, so obviously my guy, they didn't do anything to him. Luckily, a lot of the police trained with us. They knew the techniques, and they were like, well, you had 2 guys jump you. You did very little and won the fight. They both walked away. They both still have their eyes. They both still have their throat. One guy's going to have a little trouble for a while, but that's his fault. So that's the technique we're going to learn today. So again, they get you in a headlock, and all it is a slap to the palm. This is the palm heel. You kind of want to hit down with your palm before that grab and rip up. All right. 1, 2, and again, we're not letting go, and that's why I'm not letting off. I know it's hard to keep straight. You're constantly going to have to think about your techniques and adjust and relearn. Just like a fight, it should be alive and changing all the time. Moment to moment changes. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Whenever in doubt, though, it is better to wipe off than not to wipe off, because even if you let go, at least you're ready to fight again, versus if you didn't wipe off and you don't have a hold of something, now you're in a bad situation. All right. Moving on, we have grasping talons A. Grasping talons just means they're grabbing your wrist. Grasping means same side of the body, like my left hand grabs their right hand, or their right hand grabs their left hand. There's also crossing talon, which means you're crossing the body, right? Right hand grabs the right hand, or left hand grabs the left hand, so that it goes across the body. And those are the difference between grasping and crossing. For grasping talon, they've got a hold of your hand like this right here. So grasping talon A is pretty simple. If you look at how the hand grabs, and I'll come a little closer to the camera here so you can see, the thumb is always the weak point. If you pull towards the thumb, your whole wrist goes towards that, it's probably going to be stronger than just that one thumb finger of your opponent. Even if you're a whole lot smaller, whenever you go to take that whole forearm towards that thumb, they're going to have a really hard time holding it on. The one exception would be if they use both hands, or if their hands are so much bigger they can wrap all the way around and there is no gap, like you see in my hand. If their hand's big enough that their thumb kind of overlaps, then you might have a little more trouble. You can still do it, it's just harder. So since they're grabbing like this, whenever I pull my hand this way, it's going to pull out. Okay. So I'm going to turn this way. So they've got to hold my hand, so I'm going to turn my hand this way, and I'm using my elbow to strike their elbow, hit their elbow. So they have a hold of my hand, I'm stepping up and elbowing their elbow. And what that does is it takes their hand out, elbows their elbow, and it just knocks a little further that way, so they're about here, right? And then it's just a bounce from the groin back up to the nose. Hammer fist, back fist. So this one, step in, elbow, hammer, back. Wipe off, wipe off. It's called grasping talons A. We'll go ahead and do it 10 times on each side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, other side, same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, so that is called grasping talons A. If there's an A, obviously there's a B, right? So this time, we're not going to do all on one hand. We're going to use the other hand just a little. We're going to use that wipe off, as we said at 45. That's all we're going to do. Is they've got a hold of us, so we're going to step up and get a hold of them. Hopefully they don't know Chuan Fa or they might do that. But we're depending on them not knowing that. So I want to do a head high twisting punch from there. So here, step upright, wipe off, extended outward block, grab their hand, do a head high twisting punch down to their kidney, a head high twisting punch to the temple on the side of the head. All right. 1, wipe off, wipe off. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. Other side. I'm going to go ahead and do this one facing towards you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, and that one is called Grasping Talons B. And I'm already over an hour and didn't even mean to be. So we'll go ahead and close out there. We don't have a whole lot of techniques left in this belt. Oh, it looks like about 6 or 7, and then another kicking set in the forms. So next class, we'll go ahead and continue purple belt. Let you learn some more of that, because although my classes are all live, they stay up and you can repeat them, you can rewatch them, do them as you want. So I'm going to go ahead and go through the system, kind of giving you guys a little instruction as we go. All right, let's go ahead and close out today, and hopefully I'll see you guys next Tuesday. If you haven't been watching, Roger Grimes and me are doing a 30-day challenge, 30 creative forms in 30 days. Check his channel, check my channel. His is Showdown 1197. It's been a lot of fun. Each day we create a new form. Has to be creative. 5 self-defense techniques. I was real proud and real confident on day 1. On day 2, you gave me worried. On day 3, on day 2 he beat me. On day 3, it was a really good form. I mean, it was amazing. I loved watching it, and I'm looking forward to seeing more. And hopefully you like my forms as well. But go ahead and subscribe to him. Subscribe to me. See what you think of the forms. Vote daily on which one's your favorite. And if he keeps stepping this up every day like he has been here in the next 26 days, I might be seeing some of the most amazing forms I've ever seen. Honestly, I don't know yet. I'm looking forward to it. All right, let's go ahead and close out. All right, thank you. See you guys Tuesday.